Vigil.
Konnichiwa, and welcome to Lizard Brains. I am Gliptoropolis from the quadrant of Sector 9.
Hi, and I'm Marcus.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Vince.
How's it going?
I just got done watching this. I'm alright, man. How are you?
I was not ready for that shit. It's, I'm excellent. I'm having, this fucking movie, dude.
Yeah. Remember how I said shit gets buck fucking wild?
Girl, I thought it couldn't get much weirder than, like, hella blackface and, fucking heroin addiction, but lo and behold.
Yes. Yeah. What did you think, dude? What did you think?
Okay, so my first impression of this movie was this movie, for the most part, felt like suddenly there are two different writers.
Okay.
I liked it. Do not get me wrong. I liked this movie, but it definitely felt like for a lot of these, I felt like this two different stories that they kind of meshed together. For this one, it just felt like two different writers, and then one guy in the middle who was like, I can put these together. I can absolutely put these together.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I'm pretty sure it's credited with one writer, but I can absolutely see that.
Yeah.
This is the first appearance of Rodan. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm just so ready to talk about this one. This is Lizard Brains, a Godzilla rewatching podcast. I'm Vince.
I'm Marcus. Vince has seen all the Godzillas. I've seen none of them.
So we're watching them in order, and we're kind of going from there. And this is the point where you can start watching these, and you don't have to worry about watching the sub or the dub. Honestly, these are the ones where you can watch them in English, and you kind of should. My opinion, just because the translations are goofy and like they don't match they don't necessarily match the character that they're coming out of, and they're like kind of racist in a weird way.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up later, but they're definitely kind of really racist.
They're kind of like doing like that Mickey Rooney like
the Breakfast at Tiffany's thing.
Is that what that's from?
Yeah. That beloved movie where suddenly there's just this crazy yellow face happening in a tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is the point where it's gonna get fucking buck wild, nasty, crazy. Just like, this is it. Like, and I know every week I'm like, we're getting there. We're there. Like, this is where it starts. This is Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. This is technically Godzilla 5. Even though Godzilla's name doesn't show up in the title. It's a Toho film, and it's from '64. I feel like our format is kind of a little all over the place, as these have been getting a little all over the place. So let's just kind of get right into the whole. What did you think of the movie? Just flat out, before I do some sort of a write-up summation type thing. Okay. What did you think of it?
Spoiler free. This is the most sexual Godzilla I've seen so far.
Sexual?
Yeah, like
Okay.
It was hot. The fight scenes were shot like gay porn.
Okay.
Like,
don't have a ton of experience with that, so I couldn't tell you.
Of course you don't. But yeah, no, like, this was very sexual, which is interesting because this is minor spoiler here. This is the only one, the first one so far, that didn't have a love story in it.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, like there's an implicit love story, but it's like an unrequited thing.
Yeah.
But like there's nobody who's like, haha, this woman is going to be my woman. It's all like the two main characters are brother and sister. There's a couple scientist characters actually, and they're all friendly. There's none of them like trying to tap that, which is pretty cool.
Maybe we should diddle each other. No, I don't think so. Like,
What do you say about putting my penis in your mouth?
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, but which is interesting because, again, the sexy bits are the monsters fighting each other. Like, I'm telling you, go back and rewatch the early fights and tell me that that's not, like, some serious no-lube penetration.
Someone gets dropped on somebody, probably. I could see where you're coming from.
Just saying. So, you know, if you're going to be watching this with kids, you might want to have the talk with them beforehand, you know, like when one monster loves another monster very, very much.
I don't know about that. I watched it and didn't think at any point in time that Godzilla was trying to get his snout wet.
All right. I feel like Godzilla was definitely bottoming here, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm telling you. Like, maybe it's in the same way that A Whole New World is about anal sex, you know?
The fucking Aladdin song?
Yeah. Come on, dude. Like, just look up the lyrics to it. Try not to imagine the fucking the song and just read the lyrics. It's about butt sex.
I mean, I'll take your word for it.
Don't take my word for it. Try it.
So other than these weird sexual overtones, how else do you feel about the movie?
I really liked it. There were certain things I didn't like as much as previous films.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
can
this
you
one
say
felt...
without spoiling?
I'll be vague.
Okay.
This one felt a lot more busy, but at the same time very straightforward. Like, it felt more disjointed in terms of what was happening and when. Like, in previous films, you had a sense of the size of, like, where Godzilla was and how long it took him to get from point A to point B. In this one, like, fucking humans could teleport, I guess. And Godzilla at one point was just standing there doing nothing for 12 hours. So
the version that you watched the American version, right? You watched the dubs.
Yes.
Okay.
I watched the dubs of this one.
I watched the dub as well. The American version is about 10 minutes shorter.
Oh.
So, I believe if I remember correctly, I read it was 83 minutes on the American version and 93 minutes on the Japanese version.
I wonder what was cut.
Probably walking. Like, to be completely honest, American audiences want action now. This is a movie that I really enjoyed. You didn't listen to the album that I recommended, did you?
No, not yet.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna
because I
listen
think
to it.
most of the samples come from the next movie because there is only one sample, and I've listened to this album a bunch. It's for those who don't know, we have a picture of it on screen. I recommended last episode King Ghidorah's "Take Me to Your Leader." I want to say from 2007. 2006, somewhere around there. It's a moniker of MF Doom, and it kind of plays into the idea of the villain and the big bad of King Ghidorah coming from space and whatnot. These aren't spoilers. This is a thing that is encompassed within the character of Ghidorah. And there is only one sample that I recognized from this movie, from the album, and it's when they're in that meeting and he goes, "The people want answers and they want them now." And I was like, ooh, that's in a song. And I couldn't remember what song, but I was like, I've heard that 1,000,006 times.
Oh my god, I love okay. There was a lot of lines in this movie that I just truly loved.
Okay, so I want to just get something. I'm going to space out on certain parts of this movie because... Okay. I'm incredibly tired, and as much as I was excited to watch this and enjoying it, I fell asleep twice.
Oh, damn.
And, like, not that I was bored, I'm just fucking beat.
Dude, no, like, same. Actually,
yeah.
Embarrassingly, I almost nodded off at the end climax. Like, I had to rewind it 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Like, it was just so exhausting getting there.
Yeah.
But, like, that's... spoiler territory, I think.
Yo yo, it's your girl Mothra. Just want to quickly shout out the Patreon. A big thanks to Noah, Gage Jordan with a Y, Danny, and Bones Jones. Also thank you Vigil Beats for our intro song. Link to all his socials in the description below. And now back to the program.
Oh fuck.
So you want to just jump into the write-up and then we can go into spoiler talk?
Yeah. Let's get this right up.
All right. So I'll be honest with you. I didn't do a write-up because I'm bad at time management and I'm tired. But it's the same. It's the same kind of shtick as the past few. It was directed by Ishiro Honda, produced by Tomoyuki Tanaka, written by I still don't know how to say it, Shizinsi Shirakawa, and it is composed by Akari Ikefube.
I do love me some Ikefube.
The music's great, right?
Oh yeah. Like, I don't think there has been weak music yet.
Yeah. And I honestly don't really think there ever is. As long as Ikefube is doing it, I don't really think the music is bad. Cool. That being said, this movie made $200 million, 200 million yen in Japan, which, if I'm correct, I want to say that's like 180 million, 190 million US. But it doesn't have a budget, which I always think is super, super interesting to see the race of the race. Sorry, I got a ping from my group D&D chat that we're trying to make new characters. Sorry, always interesting to see how much these movies cost and try to see like how much they would cost today. But there is no budget. This did come out the same year as the last movie. The last movie being. Marcus, what was the name of the last movie?
Oh, fuck you, man. It was either Mothra or Godzilla versus Godzilla or Mothra.
There's also Godzilla against Mothra. There's Godzilla versus the Thing. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
no.
It's Mothra versus Godzilla. So
okay.
It came out the same year. It's the same suit. This is also the first appearance of Rodan within a Godzilla film, and Rodan is kind of like this long-lasting Toho character. I'm not a huge fan of Rodan, to be completely honest. I don't have anything against Rodan. I just kind of think that he's a little lazy in design. He's just a pterodactyl.
Yeah, with spike nipples.
Yeah, and that kind of comes and goes as the series goes on. Some people really like Rodan, some people don't. A lot of people kind of see Rodan as like Godzilla's little brother, which I always thought was kind of weird. But again, I'm not a huge Rodan guy. Mothra's here, but I do like the continuity of Mothra dying and then Mothra coming back as a larva. The only thing in the American version is now there's only one. That they didn't talk about what happened to the other one. There's only one, and they keep referring to her as a him. So I don't know if this is the male Mothra that comes about in the Mothra series, or if this is just a translation error. I couldn't tell you.
I honestly have no idea. I also have a problem with Rodan, but we can get into that.
No.
Yeah.
Since we're in the write-up, we're kind of talking about the movie itself. We're talking about what's new, even though I didn't write anything up. What did you have a problem with?
Just how they... Like, the movie... Okay, the previous movie introduced us to Mothra. Mm-hmm. Like, they're starting to expand the kaiju type thing and getting more confident with it. And now, I feel like they've gotten overconfident with the idea of just like, oh yeah, we can throw in whoever the fuck we want. Like,
That's because Rodan has his own films. And Rodan was very popular, from what I understand.
Okay, so did Rodan have films prior to this film?
Yes. Oh, also, so did Mothra. Mothra had her own films, but they kind of introduce her a little bit. There is a comment... Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, there is a comment on the last video. Let me find it quick. Someone clarified some things that I had no clue about. I didn't know that. Because, like I said in the last video, I had never seen a Mothra film. I just like Mothra from the Godzilla films. I didn't know she had her... I mean, I knew she had her own... I just didn't know, and I didn't know this. I didn't know about this. So, let me see this real quick. David Brown on YouTube said, "Seeing these two fight for the first time, and then teaming up in the next movie with Rodan is awesome, kind of like a two-parter Hell 3 with Godzilla vs. Monster Zero.
Say his name is Dan Brown?
David Brown. Sorry, David Brown. Did I say Dan?
I totally spaced out when you said his name, honestly.
So if I'm correct with this, let me just double check this. Okay, so he says that at a certain time I bring up the twins, or you bring up the twins, and he says they explain who the Shijobin, the Shobijin, are in Mothra from 61. They are her priestesses from Infant Island who use telekinesis to communicate.
Telekinesis, you say?
Yes.
Huh.
So I'm taking David. Shout out to David Brown. Thank you for the help.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I'm going to take his word on this. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. And actually, while I'm here, I might as well pin this comment.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So then, I didn't know that. I had no clue that they were even referred to as Shijobin. Shobijin.
We should really get, like, a pronunciation guide.
I kind of like not being able to say it properly, to be honest.
It's definitely more authentic.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the point. Like, I didn't know they had a name. I didn't know that there was really anything going on there other than just they were the twins, because they're not really explained. So I see where you have this problem with Rodan, because Rodan really isn't talked about, and Rodan has a lot to do with the volcanoes, and that's kind of where he shows up in this. And they just don't explain it, because at this point, Toho, I don't believe the studio that was making Gamera was making Gamera yet. So they kind of owned the monopoly on kaiju films, if I remember correctly. So, like, if you were a kaiju fan, I'm assuming the way it was looked at is you saw all of the Toho monster films.
Okay.
The problem with that is when it came to America, more people saw Godzilla than they saw Rodan or Mothra. I didn't even know there was Mothra films until a few years ago.
I didn't know until this year, 2020.
So,
I honestly didn't know until this conversation that Rodan A existed and B had their own film series.
A lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them do. And I think like there's another monster who shows up either in the next film or the film after. And I'm probably wrong when I say that, but I believe their name is Bagaron, and Bagaron has their own films. King Kaisar, who shows up later, I think has his own films. I think.
But this is like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
I can't wait for Godzilla Endgame.
That actually comes up soon.
Are you fucking kidding me?
There's like essentially like an Endgame film that's coming up soon.
Yes.
But I think they need a little more time, and it's fucking awesome when it happens. Like,
oh my god,
it's they have just off the top, off the rip, off the dome, off the clip. I could think of two separate movies. I'm not even going to tell you the name, so when we get there, you can be surprised.
Okay, cool.
That are pretty much like Endgame level, like crossover fights and whatnot.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
it's funny that you say that. Yeah, but let's jump out of this. Let's segue out of this. Let's go right to the spoiler talk.
Okay. So, okay, first question. First fucking question.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are the Peanuts?
I think the Peanuts... So do you want to explain why you're asking this?
Right. So, opening credits happen, and, like, I thought they were just sort of recapping the previous movie, because it features Godzilla kicking rocks, and then random pterodactyl turns up.
Yeah.
But about 36 seconds in, they credit... hold on. What are the names? I'm looking up the names real quick. You sent it to me.
It was Ito?
Emi and Yumi Ito are credited as, quote, the Peanuts, end quote. Who the... like, fucking Charlie Brown is in this fucking thing? Like, who are the Peanuts? Is that what they called the fucking twins? Is that what the two little kids in the beginning? Also, holy shit! It just never mind. That's later in the movie.
No.
But
What?
Fucking okay. So shit happens in this movie. A meteor hits Earth, doesn't cause an extinction event somehow, and they start the process of the political intrigue subplot, main plot, and then the police officer who's related to the reporter lady, who we'll get back to in a second, go home and are watching TV with their mom, and they have this weird game show in Japan. Surprise, I know. But
Wait, what?
I know.
What?
But this is like a Where Are They Now style game show, but rather than it be like a celebrity like Sean Connery or whatever, may he rest in hell.
Sean Connery?
Yeah, fucking wife beater. Fuck him.
Oh.
Yeah. They just bring people up on stage, and the Peanuts might have been the two kids that they brought up on stage. Maybe.
Okay,
But
yeah.
But okay, the kids are like, we want to see Mothra, and they're like, well, we can't do that, but we can bring the fairies, and suddenly, magically, they just summon the fucking fairy twins.
Yeah, they're just there now. They're just fucking touring Japan.
Right? They're just
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, celebrity tour, bruh. They love us here.
It's like Fish.
Yeah. Like they're on their book tour. Fucking next they'll be on Oprah.
So I just Googled the Peanuts Godzilla, and I got a video that looks like a hybrid of Optimus Prime and an Angry Bird, and then Charlie Brown, and then Godzilla from the Legendary Pictures, the MonsterVerse Godzilla. And then I kind of flipped through, and there was another link that I went to. This is on a website called Natsumielo, Natsumelo. The Peanuts are the twins. I don't know why they're being referred to as the Peanuts. I mean, I guess that's the group, the Peanuts. They were like a duo, a female duo of twins, I'm assuming, that did the music. So maybe they just did the song, because this isn't Mothra's theme from the last movie.
Okay.
This is a different song that, like, I'm looking at it here, and the picture, because it's like one of those old YouTube videos that's like a picture and different pictures of the song. It sounds the same, but it's like not. It's obviously performed by somebody different, but they use a black and white picture from this film, because these twins are different from the twins, at least the actresses. And then there's like lyrics here that are translated from Japanese to English. So it's like, Mothra, oh Mothra, hear our call for you to save us. Our time overseas, like a wave you come, our guardian angel, Mothra, oh Mothra. The people have forgotten kindness, their spirit falls to ruin. We shall pray for the people as we sing the song of love. And that's the Peanuts singing a song that I can't pronounce because I don't know how to read this language.
That's interesting as fuck. Because in the movie, they sing that song, and they have someone translate, and the lyrics are different when they translate it.
Yeah, how fucking white was that? The song's called Mothra no Uta by the Peanuts from 1964. So I guess they were the twins, but how fucking white was let's just translate. Let's just like. And I'm sitting there watching, and I'm a person that when I watch a movie or play a game, I can just suspend my disbelief, but I'm sitting there going, who the fuck would be sitting there at an event? Like, Beyonce doesn't perform in South Korea, and they're like, and now for your listening pleasure, we're going to translate the song for you live. Like,
right? Like, when I listen to foreign music, I typically listen to it in the native language.
Yeah. Or a cover.
Yeah,
like, you remember how fucking 99 Luftballons was like a huge song in America, and then it got translated because it was a huge song in America? Like,
oh yeah, and actually, fun fact, it got mistranslated.
Really?
Yeah, the original song doesn't mention the color red.
Huh, really?
Really.
No shit.
No shit. It just rhythmically it didn't line up properly, so they're like 99 red balloons?
No fucking way. They just needed to fill that syllable.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
No fucking way.
I didn't know that. That's neat.
And history was made.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're the peanuts.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
I thought the peanuts were the comedians. That's what I thought the joke was, because I saw two of them, and it was like a very straight man act, and I just thought like, oh, this is the peanuts. Like, just me using my brain face. I was like, this is what the peanuts are.
That makes sense.
Wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought it could either be the kids that wanted to see Mothra, and they just like were related to somebody, so they got huge fucking billing.
Yeah, they're the director's nephews.
Fucking right.
Or his one nephew and his like nephew's friend.
Yeah, and they're both 5 years old.
But fucking one's a foot and a half taller.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite moments was actually during that scene. I looked at my phone when they were talking about, like, we will sing Mothra's song. But the timing of it was such that, like, I looked down at my phone as they were saying that, and then they started fucking singing and gave me a fucking jump scare. Like, I fully wasn't ready for them to just be like, Mothra!
Is that what I messaged you?
I believe so.
Wow. I did it on purpose.
You bastard.
Ha-ha.
You knew. You
I am
knew.
Glorpius from Sector 9. So...
we gotta test your blood.
I was going to kind of wait for thematic reasons, but then I remembered that I have to do editing. I text you while watching this the numbers 36:19, and that's because I'm trying to keep track of how soon Godzilla shows up, and motherfucker takes his time getting in this film. 36 minutes, 19 seconds, and when he shows up, it felt like he was showing up just so he could be like, hey, don't forget I'm in this movie. Because he doesn't get top billing. He just doesn't. Rodan shows up. Rodan has more screen time, and Mothra has more screen time than Goji in his own film. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I kind of like that, to be honest, because it kind of shows that the world is dynamic. I also like the idea that Japan's just like, there's monsters everywhere now. Like, God damn it, World War II happened, and now we can't stop it.
It's like an elephant graveyard, but for monsters.
I need to know what you mean by an elephant graveyard.
So they're elephants in general, back when they were more when they had a larger population, for whatever reason, would go to a specific area to die. Like when they were old, they would just
really.
It is
like in the Lion King.
Yeah, like
really?
That's a legit thing. Yeah,
cool.
And they were prized among poachers because you could just get fucking free ivory.
Well, let me ask you this: not change subject. Is that more humane?
Yes and no.
Because like if you want ivory and it's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, no, it's not killing. It's not reducing the population and making something go extinct.
Yeah.
But like, it kind of comes back to elephants being incredibly intelligent. So it feels very much like we're taking the smallest step back from robbing native tombs. Because, like, let's not forget that Apache bones and Cherokee bones were used for knife handles.
Fucking really?
Yeah.
No shit. Did you know about mummy parties?
Oh, yeah, where they would get mummies and eat them? Like, unwrap them and eat them?
They would eat them?
In some cases, yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that. I thought they just, like, would like, oh, we have a lot of money and it's the 1800s. Let's unwrap a mummy at a dinner party where there's cheese and wine. Like, I didn't think...
Yeah. No, unwrapping and eating was part of it. Fucking... Because white people are fucking...
Dude.
Weird.
White people be crazy and shit?
Dude,
so,
it's
all right,
not...
All right, hold
anyway,
on,
yeah, sorry. Backing it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 39 minutes or 27 seconds if you count the opening credits. For Godzilla to turn out.
Oh, is that what you messaged me? Oh, you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't counting that because I wasn't counting that on the sole purpose of this is the Americanized version, and I can't say this for a fact, but I felt like the intro was only put in because if you listen to the music when it shows the Toho logo, and then it plays the music when it says like the credits and shit, it's like such an abrupt change that I was like, they did this for the Americanized version. The Japanese version had a more staggered and slow intro with that different music. So I wasn't considering that. Also, I know you're different than I am when it comes to films like this, because I don't read, like when I put the movie on, the credits come on in the beginning, and that's for me to just sit down and like make sure all my texts are answered, and then I'm comfortable and I got a snack ready to go. Like I'm not
situated, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that. Like that's not why I'm here. And maybe that's just because of the way we watch film differently. I feel like for something like this, you kind of you look at this film the way you would watch something that like a Coen Brothers film would be, and I think that's really cool that you kind of look at all film the same in that way of like, this is an art and has to be critiqued. Maybe just because I grew up with these, I look at these like, all right, big suit time, let's go, Leroy. Like,
I know what I'm here for.
Yeah,
let's fucking bring it.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's just like a jaded aspect that I have when I watch these, but I just think that's something I picked up on that I think is really interesting.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that is pretty fascinating. I'm gonna have to start paying attention to that next time I'm watching a movie. Yeah. Because, like, there are definitely movies that I will watch that are, like, nostalgic for one reason or another. Like, that, like, I don't watch to critique. Mm-hmm. Like, I sort of watch to revisit critiques.
But you've seen them.
Yes.
That's the point. That's the common denominator, I think, in this, is that you haven't seen these films before. So that's why you're reading the intro. That's why you're reading the intro credits. Where if you put on a movie that you've seen 1,000,000,006 times, you're just going to be like, all right, let me get situated. Let me make sure this peanut butter and jelly's got the right amount of crust. Like,
I know exactly when to start paying attention and when to space out.
Yeah, like this is like, all right, I don't need to see these names. These names, we're gone. All right. Japanese people, like, let's go. So how do you feel about the idea of this alien thing that is kind of introduced here?
Well, actually, honestly, I feel like it was about time.
Really?
Yeah, like there was only but so many monsters you could bury in the crust of the earth. Like that's it was about time that they started getting a little bit more creative, I think, in how they introduced new and improved monsters.
Wait. Just you fucking wait.
Oh, great. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I will say, fucking, that was kind of confusing.
What's that?
Like, so, movie starts, and it's a whole bunch of scientists, like astronomers with telescopes and shit, all gathered around, and like, talking some, like, wait for it. Oh, it's a half an hour late. It's never happening. The UFO people are never going to be coming up, and like the reporter lady's there, and they're like, it's your fault. You're a non-believer. That's why it didn't turn up. And like, gets a full-on, you're a woman, therefore you don't know shit, dressing down from a group of scientists.
Yeah.
Like, fuck them. That was so obnoxious. But that's woman number one. I believe there are 4 women total in this movie. If we count the twins as one again. Because they're small.
Okay, I was thinking 3.
Whatever, I'll count them in a second. Yeah. And then they see a shooting star, and they're like, oh, that's not them. And then suddenly they see a meteorite hit the fucking Earth. And like, they wait till morning to go check it out.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, we'll sleep on it. I'm sure
60s.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not the biggest story to happen. Like, that isn't cause for any kind of fucking alarm of any kind. It's just, no, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like,
they've been getting attacked by Godzilla for a decade, and other monsters at this point for a decade.
I guess.
You really think a meteor hitting's big news? Hey guys, remember the big lizard that fucking destroyed Tokyo and then we killed him with an oxygen bomb? Yeah. Alright, well he's back and he brought his friends. Fuck. Like...
You know what? That's a good fucking point. But then, then there's the subplot about the princess and like, which they, holy crap, shoehorn in. Like, Hey, police officer, go escort this princess. She's flying in from the Himalayas from this tribe that we just fucking made up. And then they're like, before we even see the goddamn princess, we see the tribe of frill-neck motherfuckers doing a Dr. Claw type thing, talking about, is the bomb on the plane?
Oh,
and like,
yeah.
And then we meet the princess, who gets a vision from a random light saying, jump off the plane. So she jumps off the plane. And honestly, this is a character moment for her, which we'll get into later.
What do you mean a character moment? Like, what do you mean exactly by that? Like a defining moment? Like a point that pushes the plot along? Like, what do you mean character moment?
I mean that, hey, jump without question is a part of her character.
I see. Well, also, she was... Hold on. I not to jump around, but she was she does kind of explain that she has Martian DNA in her genome.
Kinda.
So, and it's kind of like that can be... It's kind of like Russian sleeper agents. It can kind of just be called upon at any point. And did you ever see that American Dad episode where it's like, that Italian family next to us is being rather quiet? Like, that kind of happens to him. Or to her, it just kind of click, and then she's like, jump out of plane. And then she just jumps. And then, because she wakes up out of it later, but like, I mean, not to spoil anything for the next movie, but the next movie is called The Invasion of the Astro Monster. So I think you can kind of get the foreshadowing of this film. The next movie is like a direct, and I'm not trying to like justify this movie's existence, because I don't think a movie should have to, its sequel shouldn't have to justify the one that preceded it, but like, also, again, I'm coming with this knowledge of, I know where this is kind of coming from and where it's kind of going, and I'm doing my best not to spoil anything, but
appreciate you.
They do incorporate kind of a theme from this point on, and I do like how Ghidorah, I like how he's referred to as just Ghidorah, even though his name is King Ghidorah. And I don't know if he was Ghidorah just for this movie, and then every reference after it and all the other films, he's referred to as King Ghidorah. I don't know.
Me neither.
It's just something I picked up on.
Yeah, that was a thing that I found fucking weird, is somehow news of these, like, apparently these fucking kaiju wear name tags. Because everybody knows who exactly you're talking about in these movies.
What do you mean exactly?
Like, fucking, I mean, I guess it's addressed in the Rodan movies, but...
Yeah.
But, like, when someone says, hey, Godzilla and Rodan are heading this way, everybody knows who the fuck that is.
Yeah, that is kind of because Rodan already had his origin story told.
But on top of that, so turns out Princess Lady gets possessed by, or either has her Martian sleeper agent awakened, or she gets possessed by Martian spirit thing that tells her to jump, and now suddenly she's a prophetess, as they call her. And she starts warning people about destruction. Destruction's gonna fucking happen. And
yo, hold on, can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
Dude, her fit is flames.
Dude, that hat though?
Dude, that hat? Dude, she's like that's a good fit. Like, and the whole time I'm sitting there going like, damn, I know you're supposed to look homeless, but shit, girl. Like,
yeah, no, you're not fucking wrong. It's like, it's very Mary Tyler Moore, but oh god damn it, what's that movie about the unions? Fuck, Mary Tyler Moore, but with like a Rosie the Riveter type vibe. Okay. But yeah, no, you're not fucking wrong. Yeah, it was a great outfit. Anyway, so she's all like, okay, first of all, she's just like preaching about the destruction of the Earth, which, how the hell does that gather a crowd? First of all,
how does it or doesn't it?
How does that? Random woman turns up dressed like a homeless person in the middle of a park, gathers a crowd, talking about the destruction of the Earth. Like, if you want to talk about a meteor not being a big deal, I feel like some random crazy person talking about the destruction of the Earth should be like a weekly thing, a daily thing even. But anyway, this bitch is everywhere suddenly, and like just sort of introduces Rodan. Like, she goes on goes from the city to a volcano tour to tell them, we shouldn't be here, the volcano's about to erupt. We shouldn't be here, there's danger, you don't know the danger you're in. And then they're like, what, the volcano's about to erupt? And she's like, no. And doesn't elaborate.
Yeah. Until the dude jumps in. Which I wanna point out that when the dude's hat falls into the volcano, and that like skeevy looking dude's like, give me 1,000 yen and I'll go get your hat.
Yeah.
Like $98, $96 US right now. I don't know what the exchange rate was in 64, but he's like, no, that's too much money. And he doesn't even go to like 800 or 750. He's like, well, give me 500 yen. That's like $45. And then
right?
he goes, give me 200 yen. And I'm like, dude, now you really $18.39 to go get a hat? Like, go buy a fucking hat for that much money.
Fucking right.
Like,
and like,
just made me laugh.
Also in that very same scene, like, the rumble starts to happen, and the guy who eventually loses his hat, his wife is like, "Oh, I'm scared. I want to leave."
But then she
okay.
doesn't tell the guy not to go in the hole.
Exactly. The hat flies off, and suddenly she's like, "Oh, your hat! I gave you that hat as a gift."
Yeah.
Like,
then you go fucking get it.
Yeah, seriously. Like, do you want to stay or do you want to fucking go, bitch? Fucking, you can't have it both ways. And like, anyway, so this Martian princess is suddenly like, that's Rodan. Like, ta-da! And these people just fucking believe her. And then suddenly she teleports elsewhere. Another thing. Yeah, a fucking another thing. She gets her picture on the front page fucking news.
Yeah.
Of crazy lady claiming to be a Martian.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work in Japan where they're constantly getting attacked by giant fucking monsters?
Dude, wait, like, I don't want to spoil what the future holds, but like, just fucking wait. If you think that's crazy, you ain't seen nothing. Like,
fair enough. I guess I'm just getting hung up on the small shit.
But like, no, I think that's awesome that you're getting hung up on the small shit because, like, for a lot of people who saw these films, there was only so many that were localized that they did translations for. So there's there's like a series of them that I want to say, because we're in the Showa era, and I want to say there's a series towards the back end of the Heisei, middle to back end of the Heisei era, that are like, they were incredibly hard to find in the US, where they were all bootlegs. Like, the only way you found it is someone who could translate Japanese to English and was doing their own subtitles, or you just watched the movie and couldn't understand it. So there's a bunch of them that they like never released back in the day. So you're seeing these canonically, which I think is something that like we bring it up and we talk about, but I'm really starting to get this sense, especially now that we're on episode 5 and things aren't being especially explained, that like you're asking the right questions by saying like, well, why is this happening? Well, why is that happening? This isn't explained. Imagine it being like 1989, 1991, 1996, and you're watching these because like just some channel is playing it.
That's fair.
And the deeper, so the Showa era is my favorite, from 54 till I want to say 75, 79, somewhere around there is the Showa era. And it's just fucking buck wild banana sandwich crazy, right?
Awesome.
It's also my favorite because it feels like it has the most heart to it. It feels like it has the most, I don't want to say character. It has the most character in it. But like, imagine just like, wait till we get to fucking Megalon. Wait till you get to Godzilla versus Megalon. You're going to be like, dude, imagine it being the 80s or the 90s and you're at home. It's a Saturday evening. Your friends canceled on you. You're half a joint in and 6 beers down. And this just comes on TV. Like, it's a totally, and I think that's what's so fascinating is these movies for American audiences, I don't even know for Japanese audiences, but American audiences weren't necessarily expected to be shown or to be seen. So now that we live in the age of I want something, it's in front of me, like, I think it's really neat to go back and kind of see, and that's the thing that I watch for older movies is like, how many older movies do you think you could go back and watch and be like, this would have been fixed if they had a cell phone? this wouldn't have been a problem if they had the internet. Like, this would have happened if this was like that. Like, go and watch a film. Go and watch like Ghostbusters. Maybe not Ghostbusters. Go and watch something from like 80 to 92. Like, did you ever see the movie Fatso with Don Rickles? Not Don Rickles. What the fuck is the guy's name? Dom DeLuise.
I have not seen it.
Okay. There's a whole point in that movie where he just doesn't talk to his girlfriend for like 2 months. And I'm like, all of this would have been fixed if you had a cell phone. You could have, she would have been fucking posting IG pictures. She would have been on Facebook. She would have been on Twitter. You could have called her multiple times, text her multiple times. Like, he gets ghosted before ghosting is like a thing. And I'm just watching it going like, this movie couldn't be made today. Like, it could, but like not in this context.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
and I'm kind of, what's up?
That's one of my favorite things about watching, like, not period pieces per se, but like set in the modern day movies from the 80s and 90s and 70s and shit.
Yeah.
Especially, I love set in the distant future, the year 2000 movies.
Yeah. You know what's really neat to watch with that? I forget what I was watching, but they said go back and watch all of those movies. Like, go watch Back to the Future. Go watch anything that takes place in the future. Most of the things they predict came true. Like phones that you could talk to people, like that you can see people, not talk to people, see people on, like delivery, the way things are delivered, big conglomerates, monopolies, all that shit, like, gets predicted and pretty much comes true. The only thing that was never predicted was the internet.
Yeah.
And, like, every time I think about what's going to be the next big invention, my whole thought is, what's going to be fire or the wheel? Because it's like fire, the wheel, the cotton gin, like, these are things that were invented that made production of life easier, right? Like, like the newspaper presses, like, these are the things that are like monoliths. Like, these are the benchmarks in history. And then it just seems like it was the internet and then nothing else ever again. So what's the next thing?
Well, I mean, also, the internet is still innovating in itself. And you have to bear in mind the distances between the inventions that you've just mentioned. Like,
I know. I'm with you. I hear. Yeah. I know that exactly. And as I'm saying it, I kind of feel silly because when you said it innovates on itself, I fail to take into consideration how many people don't have access to the internet. Yes. Once fire was discovered, everybody had access to fire, pretty much. Like, hey, did you hear Frank invented that thing that hurts when you look at or when you touch it? Like, really? How do you do it? Check this out. Stick, touch it. Oh, fuck. Why'd you do that? You told me to touch it. Well, now you know not to. And then, like, the newspaper, when the presses for that came about, it was like, now everybody can have a newspaper, but you just know how to read. This makes sense to me. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody else. We're getting away from the big lizard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, this is a Godzilla rewatching podcast.
I want to talk about miniatures quick. I want to talk about, there's a lot less of them.
Yes.
There's some building destruction. The pagoda was destroyed by Ghidorah, which I actually really like the destruction of it because it shows the force of his wings. Because he kind of like flaps by. Also, can we just for a second detour from miniatures and just talk about the design of Ghidorah?
I gotta say, yes, we can absolutely talk about that.
Fucking 10 out of 10, right?
Okay. I can appreciate the level of detail that went into it, and I really liked the way it moved.
The three heads, yeah.
Yeah, the three heads. But not my favorite monster.
Really?
Really, really. And
he's a top 3 for me.
Fair enough. No, like, beautiful design, and I, again, loved how they had him move on the ground. It was mostly just when he flew, it reminded me of, you ever see that show, The Greatest American Hero, or The Great American Hero?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever heard the song, the Believe It or Not, I'm Walking on Air? Yeah, that's the theme song to this show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which, real quick summary, a dweebus high school teacher gets in contact with extraterrestrials, and they decide to make him a superhero, and it's essentially the Blue Beetle suit. like the suit lets him fly. It gives him super strength when he needs it. Like it's a Swiss Army knife of super suits.
Tight.
Yeah. But he's still a dweebus and doesn't actually know how to use the suit. So when he's flying, it's like it's completely accidental. So he's
seems
just
like a neat concept.
It's a great concept, and it's played mostly for laughs. But when he's when he's flying through the air, he's just like, oh god, like flailing all
awesome.
about. Yeah, it's like, hell yeah, that is exactly how I want a dweebus superhero to act.
Yeah,
just like,
absolutely.
No, I don't wanna. And that's kind of how King Ghidorah looked in the air, just like, oh god, oh, why am I in the air the entire time? And like, maybe
it
that's
was
just
64.
fair. That's like, and it looked cool. It just was very funny. But yeah, no, I liked. Honestly, the only thing about the King Ghidorah design that I didn't like was the sound, like the roar.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was weak.
Okay.
I mean, like, again, it was creative, it was new, it was innovative, but also, like, King Ghidorah have a cough, little hairball.
Did you notice that not Mothra, did you notice that Rodan in the beginning of the movie uses Godzilla's cry?
I did notice that.
What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Miniatures.
Yeah.
All right, so there's not that much. The plane blowing up made me laugh because it looks so laughable.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was like an M80 or something.
Yeah, I think it's neat that you can kind of watch these two and be like, oh, the budget went down. Oh, the budget went down again. Like, oh, the budget. Like, even if the budget didn't go down for this one, you can tell that all of it was spent on research for Ghidorah's suit.
Yeah, and it shows.
Yeah, which, I mean, is great because Ghidorah looks great, but like, there really aren't any miniatures, and the one time where that car shows up and then gets crushed by the assassin, I'm sorry, the assassin doesn't crush it, it gets crushed, the assassin was driving it.
Yes.
Like, you could tell that was just a toy car. Like, the tanks in the past movies looked great. The building destruction in this is pretty good. It kind of felt like one piece. Like, it didn't feel like a lot of pieces collapsing in on each other. It kind of just felt like they built a model and said, all right, just however you fall on us, however it's going to get destroyed. That being said, I'm just a sucker for miniatures, no matter how good or bad they look.
That's fair.
I think the suits look great, especially Ghidorah's, like we said. Rodan, again, a lot of puppet work was done in this.
Yeah.
A lot of just Godzilla puppet, Rodan puppet, and kind of
Mothra was a miniature, I think.
Yeah, and then, like, how cool is it when Godzilla's like, Mothra, take my tail?
Yeah. Grab on. Actually, honestly, my favorite costume, I guess, in this particular movie was the Mothra larva.
Really?
Yes, I love the way it moved. It was really cool. Really cool, really pretty. It also had a good sound effect to it. But yeah, it was all in all okay. One thing I did not like about this movie was suddenly the monsters are having a conference.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this. Yeah, the meeting of the monster minds.
Yeah, just chatting.
How did you feel about that?
Man,
it does feel a little shoehorned.
There are very few things in this movie that feel very, very shoehorned. Like the hat thing felt very shoehorned.
Really? I thought the hat thing was kind of okay.
It felt like an excuse. It felt like they were like, okay, we have to get Rodan in here somehow. Fuck it. Someone goes into the crater to chase a hat.
I can see that. I don't agree with it, but I can see that.
Yeah, like that's just how it came off to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the meeting of the monster minds felt very like all action stop. There was a fight scene happening. Like actually, up until that point, it was Godzilla versus that annoying fly in your bedroom that's just really loud, but you can't see it. Because like it was just Godzilla chasing fucking Rodan and like running across Japan and then suddenly seeing a boat and being like, fuck that boat, fire breath, fuck that building, fire breath.
Yeah.
And then they were fighting and just like having very, very erotic fighting.
I don't see it. It doesn't help that Mothra's like string shotting everybody.
Yeah. No, that was a thing. That was definitely a thing.
I didn't see it. I genuinely, like, I'm not just trying to be contrarian. Like, I genuinely didn't get that.
That's totally fair. Like, movies are up to interpretation. And maybe I'm just lonely.
Maybe quarantine's hitting a little hard right now.
You're not fucking kidding. But like, but yeah, so like string shot happens. They decide to have a conversation, bringing everything to a roaring start. Meanwhile, Ghidorah, who is supposed to be the harbinger of doom, killed all of Mars, is just hanging out, doing nothing,
just
right?
Yeah,
like I guess he just hatched. Which actually brings...
I don't know if that was a hatching, but I see what you're saying. I didn't take that as a hatching. I took that as more of like, fuck this planet, now to destroy another one, and just kind of left.
I guess.
Okay, so maybe this is just me, because fucking... When I watch... I've noticed this about myself. When I watch a movie, I try to piece together parts that, like, don't exist. But I kind of took it as, like, Ghidorah flying through space, and just kind of, like, the speed that he was flying through space kind of, like, took on other matter, and it just kind of formed into one, and then when he just kind of hit Earth, he was inside of it. Probably not, but it's a fucking silly monster movie, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Although, actually, that brings me to another funny moment in this particular movie. Way before the fighting that we're talking about happens, after the meteor lands, and the scientists are like, you know, packing their shit, they decide to go find the meteor the next fucking day, to take their goddamn time.
They have those cool coats on?
Yeah, and like the backpack's full of shit.
Yeah.
They're hiking, they're on their way, and then they see the fucking meteor. They're like within 20 yards of it, and they're like, yeah, let's set up camp right here. Our country has no, like, radiation has not impacted us in any way.
No.
At all.
No.
So like, let's just set up right next to it. Fuck it. We haven't even taken any readings yet. What could possibly go wrong? And like,
what could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Yep.
And like, funnily enough, nothing really does go wrong. Like, they lose some picks to the egg chrysalis thing being magnetic. Also, during this moment, the meteor thing starts glowing, like bright red. But in the dub, they're like, is it growing? And like,
that's so fucking funny. I didn't pick up on that. That's the fucking funniest thing that has happened to me all fucking day. They Englished it.
They fully Englished it, and like, I can't tell if it was them being accidentally racist or intentionally racist or like whatever, but it's consistent. Like, every time they did it, I rewound to be like, did they actually say growing and not glowing? Yes, they did.
I could just picture there's like a little Japanese man who's interpreting the film, and he's like, it is beginning to grow. And they're like, okay, thanks, Yoshi. And he's like, so it's growing. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, you heard me wrong. He's like, no, Yoshi, that's enough. Like,
we're paying you by the minute. Shut up. Yeah,
fucking.
And like full on English, and it was confusing as fuck because I'm watching this thing like start to glow and like pulsate light.
I didn't even think, dude. Again, this is another thing that I just think is so funny about how the way you and I interpret these movies. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, sure, whatever. Like, what? Like,
I know what they meant.
Dude, a giant fucking larva is walking around, and they're like, this is gonna Godzilla. They're like, Godzilla fought Mothra before, and Godzilla lost. It's like, so why don't we just throw him back at it? And it's like, well, you know, there was two of them, and now one is literally a predator that would eat bugs, and then a three-headed fuckosaurus. Yeah, that'll work.
Three-hit.
Like, yeah. throw the bug against the fucking nuclear lizard, the sky dragon, and the fucking pterodactyl. Yeah, that'll work.
Right. Just whatever. Fuck it. It'll happen.
And you're just like, but fucking grow and glow. It's different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, guys,
I'm not trying to shit on you. I don't want it to sound like I'm coming at you. It's just like, I just think it's neat. Like, I think I love the way other people interpret art.
That's fair. I mean, all you have in life is your own perspective, and the only way to get a better perspective is to take into account other people's perspectives.
Absolutely. And that's a great fucking segue for what would you rate this movie?
Before I get to the rating, actually, who was your General Clinton?
Fuck, I meant to ask you that. I would say my General Clinton is probably the princess when she's Martianized.
Okay.
Because she just doesn't... Either that or the dude who goes and gets the hat. I'm going to change my answer. Dude who goes and gets the hat.
That's fair.
Hat man. Because he went from $100 to $20. If you would have said no at 50 to me, like I would have been like 100. No, 75. No, 50. No, all right, I'm out. Like I would have walked away then. Like I'm out.
Fair.
$20. That dude's like, I might fill my tank. Might on the ride home. Also, I get it. Inflation. It's a different amount of money, but still, like,
my General Clinton has got to be the psychiatrist who's just like, okay, the blinking light things didn't yield any results. Let's give her acid. And then electroshock therapy.
Yeah, and he's like, put it to 300. Are you sure 300? Doesn't that seem like a lot? No, it's all right. Don't worry. Any more will kill her, but 300's cool.
Yeah, no.
What if we do
Exactly
301?
that.
Now she's dead. Like,
God. Oh, and also, just another detail that I need to bring up before we get into ratings.
Yes.
So, at some point, these assassins, who are beautifully coded and hilariously voiced.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough time to get into it.
They remind me of the mobsters from, like, Looney Tunes.
Exactly!
Right?
Like, they're they're perfect like that. The one of them with the mustache is very, like, I can't tell if he's doing a stereotypical gangster, like, yeah, or, like, some sort of Mexican, like, hey, man, like, that sort of bullshit.
Okay, like a Cheech and Chong kind of thing?
Yeah, but, like a Cholo-type, gangster. I can't tell if they're going for Cholo-type gangster or Italian mobster-type gangster.
Yeah.
Or some combination of both, but it's beautiful. Anyway, they get buried underneath a bunch of rocks, and then also the main assassin gets buried again separately. So I believe fully in a later movie, these guys are going to come back and start terrorizing Japan. Because if these movies have taught me anything, is that if you get buried by rocks, you're coming back.
That's really fucking funny. I liked his glasses a lot.
Oh my god. The glass, like, and also, how the fuck whatever. Doesn't matter.
How did he shoot with those fucking glasses on?
How did he see? Also, how do bullets work in this universe? There was, like, 800 shots fired, one bullet wound.
And then anytime it hit, it was like, pee.
Yeah.
The gun was you, pee. Patoo.
Fucking limp dick fucking bullets. Anyway, I would give this movie, I did not, there are parts of it I liked less than the previous movie, but I really loved King Ghidorah's costume in general. Mm-hmm. I would give this an 8.5 ambidextrous detectives out of 10.
Okay. I'm a little lower than you. I would give this anywhere from like a 7.8 to an 8.1 giant monster conversations out of 10. I want to go higher, but it just takes too fucking long to get into the fight. Like,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound like, oh, stupid man, turn off brain, monster go boom. I do like the human struggle. I think a good Godzilla movie is a balance between human struggle and a balance between giant monster go boom. And this one has a great human struggle. Like, I think the story, like, I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't remember these characters' names. It's guy who did this, girl who did that. Like, that's how I remember these characters.
Yeah,
but
I remember
this one was
jobs.
good. Yeah, like I remember your jobs, and I think it's because like I wasn't born and raised in that culture, so like Tanaka isn't a name that I know. That is like, oh, I went to school with like Kojima. It's Kojima and Kojima. There's two separate ways to pronounce the name. Like, I don't know anybody whose name's David and it's also pronounced like David. You know what I mean? Like the
Funny
dude
you should mention, I actually have an Uncle David.
Really?
Really, really.
Fucking, but is it spelled the same way?
Yeah.
Well, fuck me then. Okay.
Sorry. It was just a very specific example that was, like, he's my Israeli uncle.
Well, that's the point I was going to make. It's of a different culture.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, anybody that I know in America, see, I think David, I think of Spanish. Because when we took Spanish, for some fucking reason in America, you have to pick a Spanish name. I chose Jesus for obvious reasons. The one kid's name was David, and he's like, can I just be David here? It's on the list. It's like, it's pronounced David. So that's where I think of it. But like,
interesting.
If your uncle is Israeli, and his name is spelled the same way, pronounced a different way, it's a cultural thing. So like...
Yes.
Like, the one guy's name is Akira, the other guy's name is Tomoyuki. Like, these are names that I didn't grow up around.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and, like, that's one of the struggles of watching these movies. And, like, fully privileged is not a very big struggle, but it is kind of obnoxious that we have to, like, keep continually apologizing.
Yeah.
Like, we've never had the opportunity to get our brains and mouths around these names and these words to be able to, like, interpret them and remember them.
But also at the same time, like, I think that kind of goes with the whole theme of the show. Like, I'm not just trying to be like, oh, I'm lazy to be lazy. Like, I think it goes with the whole idea of these like, the grow versus glow thing, I think is a perfect example of that. It's a mistranslation. It's a misunderstanding. You can have an appreciation and a love and an understanding for something else, but not know it to the letter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I love Japanese culture, and most of that is based in shit like this, like Godzilla, and a lot of it is based in food and tradition around food. But, like, I don't watch anime. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like,
yeah.
I can have an understanding and appreciation for something, but not know everything about it. And I think that, like... Maybe this is me just like the showrunner brain of like trying to produce a show like this or something is like, well, it's a theme. It's thematic. It makes sense. It goes with it. You could play it up for laughs, but like, it's not like I'm like misrepresenting somebody. You know what I mean? I mean, misrepresenting somebody in a like a negative sense. Like, yeah, I'm not doing it maliciously.
Yeah, we're not trying to make caricatures of anybody.
Exactly. Like, I'm not trying to do what they did in King Kong versus Godzilla. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm playing it more of like, hey, this is how the Gaijin sees it. And I'm not speaking for all of the whites, but I'm just saying, like, this is how I see it. This is how I think most people see it. And
just these two particular white people.
Yeah. And it is somewhat of a responsibility of mine to go over there, not go over there to Japan, even though I should have, but go over to like this genre, this culture, and get it right, and be able to present it in a manner that everybody can then learn from and understand it. But like, I don't feel like that's super authentic, to be honest with you. Sorry that I'm rambling. I feel like I've been up for 4 weeks straight.
No, totally fair. Yeah, no, like,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. We're trying to be authentic and like, but also not insensitive.
Like, I don't want to be super serious and research these names just so that just be like, hey, and then he fucking shot him in the mouth with the laser. He's like, bah! Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like, look at me, I'm a sophisticate. I made all of my money in Microsoft stock. And then I was like, ha 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 ha. You know what I mean?
Monkey has a problem.
Big lizard mad. Ooh, my smooth brain get tingled when big lizard smash. Like,
yes, this is quite the best of giant lizards killing each other.
Yeah, like, this isn't high art. The first one I'll give you is art. This is entertainment. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's thought-provoking. There's still some elements of radioactivity and what man does. I mean, not this one, because they're like, hey, let's go towards the meteor.
Yeah, well, and also, again, the one general that appears in this one is very much says, we can't drop a nuke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's his only point. And let the random cop in on this meeting?
Yeah.
Whatever, we're
also,
well over our... Yep.
This came out in 64. Just, I don't know why this reminded me of it. When she shows up, when the princess shows up as the homeless to give the speech, he's like, oh, we can go to space now. And I was like, give it 5 years, bucko. Give it 5 years. Like,
you'll figure it out.
Somebody's gonna do it. But yeah, no.
And spoiler alert, it'll be Russia.
Oh, fuck. What year did Russia go to space?
Sputnik. Quick, vamp.
So I really enjoy how these movies have the twins as a recurring character, but I didn't like their costumes because I feel like the costumes in this one kind of downgraded from the elegance of the past one, where they were kind of based off Luna moths. This one, they just kind of look like they were, oh Christ, what is that? Captain Caveman. They kind of look like they were just dressed like Captain Caveman.
You're right. Although, sorry, I looked it up.
Yeah.
But more to what you were saying, I thought it was interesting that it felt like they had a costume, like a
Downgrade.
joint costume. Oh, yeah. It was a downgrade, but it looked as though, rather than being individual moths, the flowers on the side of their head made it look like eyes of, like, they were one big moth.
Huh.
And Sputnik went to space October 4th, 1957.
When were the first people in space?
Motherfucker.
That's what I was kind of getting at more, because the satellite's one thing. Yeah, so, like, I do enjoy how Rodan gets introduced. I have to vamp, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I do like how Rodan gets introduced here, even though he had his own films. And I do like how Toho kind of copyrights all of their monsters, so it gives them an opportunity to have films for all of them, even if they're only showing up in maybe one or two films that are Godzilla films. And even if it doesn't canonically make sense to have them show up in their own films, I think it'd be cool to have like a larva Mothra movie. Like, even if it was like a short film, you know what I mean? Just to kind of see what Infant Island is up to.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know what I mean?
All right. So figured it out. It was Yuri Gagarin. Fucking Russian names. Just like Japanese names. So hard. He went to space in 1961. So it was 3 years ago. 3 years prior to this. 3 years ago.
Well, maybe they're just saying from the perspective of the Japanese.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I feel like it's probably about time that we start hitting that Duster Trail.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Vince.
I've been Marcus.
This has been Lizard Brains, the Godzilla Rewatching Podcast. Thank you for checking us out. You can subscribe to us. You can leave us a comment, leave us a like. There is a Patreon that you can throw a couple bucks to. Thank you. There should have been something earlier in the video to say thank you. Thank you if you've given any sort of money towards that. It helps us so we can make shows like this. There's a Redbubble down below, a link to that as well, where you can buy a shirt or something from I don't know if I've updated it yet. It depends on when this goes up, of Lizard Brain stuff. But there should be Atomic Radio Hour stuff, which I do with my friend Olive, which is a Fallout-centric, end-of-the-world-themed, apocalypse-esque podcast. We have a bunch of other shows there if you like D&D. We have Atomic Tabletop, which is Fallout and Dungeons & Dragons came together and had a love child. And it was raised by 5th edition. And we also have Kyle and Vince Likes, where me and my buddy Kyle get together and just talk about something we like. There's any way that even you just hitting the like button or sharing this with a friend is supporting us in a major way. Last I checked, we're only a few away from 300 subs, and I would really, really, really love to have 300 subs going into 2021. So if you could share this with your friends, if you watch these videos and you're checking this one out and you're kind of coming back and forth to it, if you could subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Marcus, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I got nothing to plug, but thank you. I can also say thank you for listening. Please find us on social medias.
Links in the description.
Yes, links in the description. We love you. Be fun. Have safe.
Thank you for being here, Marcus.
Thank you for being here, Vince.
All right, I'm gonna go to bed now. Bye.
Yeah.
A Ghoulman Entertainment Production.